Is the mic on? Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. Good afternoon. Thank you, Bapak Ari. I'm happy to be together with friends and sahabat-sahabat from Nusantara, sahabat se-Nusantara, saudara se-Nusantara in Indonesia and beyond. I feel very close to Surabaya and saudara-saudara Surabaya. And among the first place that I stepped into when I went to Indonesia, among the first place I went was to Surabaya, right? So and Unisa has been a close, very close to my heart because I've been there many times, and I find that the solidarity, the closeness, the hospitality is one of a kind in Surabaya, in Surabaya, right? So thank you again for the invitation. I will go straight to to my presentation so that I will save time on the greetings, right? I've chosen a topic called the Halalan Thayyiban Revolution, the Islamic Sustainable Development Breakthrough for Nusantara and beyond. Keeping in mind the theme of the conference, which is about sustainable development breakthrough. So I will introduce put forth the idea of Islamic development, Islamic sustainable development (ISD) breakthrough, and highlighting a particular principle in the Islamic sustainable development, which is Halalan Thayyiban. This presentation represent a series of work and collaboration that I've carried out throughout my many years looking into this topic, and along with that I put that my fellow collaborators, one of them is my brother Muhammad Riza, the other one is Dr. Iko, who's a student I supervised, graduated a couple of years ago, and now a lecturer in Universitas Sultan Ageng Tirta atau Untirta. So I have always enjoyed working together with a team of scholars, right? And together with me also, beside me is who's assisting the presentation now is Saudara Hanif, who is from Jogja, who's also completing his postgraduate degree in Center for Policy Research. We'll go to the next slide. So the Islamic Sustainable Development Principles, or the ISD principles, there are 8 principles. Of course, these are mutually non-mutually exclusive and non-exhaustive, meaning they're overlapping between these principles, and they are not exhaustive. They can and there are many other principles, but I'm just putting together a set of principles that are core, I believe, to Islamic sustainable development, which is number 1, the divine intention and mission. So niat, the intention, the mission is always the first in all actions of that will be evaluated, will be assessed, they will be considered whether there's good deed or bad deed. It begins with the intention. So that is number 1. Number 2, the socio-ecological stewardship, the idea of Khalifah. We humans are given the mandate to be the steward, to take care as the caretaker of this world, the social as well as the environmental, the physical as well as the social world, right? So that is, we are here as stewards, as guardians, guardians of the galaxy, taking care of the world, the planet, the earth, that is being entrusted to us. Right? So that's second principle. Number 3, the Tawhidic episteme, has to do with the way we understand the world, the way we understand the universe. Our methodology to understand the world is Tawhidic episteme, which is very extensive, but in essence is about understanding that we are the creation of the Creator, and there's a connection between the Creator and the creation, and it all begins with that understanding about the Tawheed, that anything else besides God is creation, and there is a order, there's a system, there's a method to understanding God's creation, hence the Tawhidic episteme. Number 4 is the wasatiyah, or a mizan, which is balance. Wasatiyah is the middle path, so to say, to understand the balance. In Islam, in Islamic teaching, the idea of balance, the idea of wasatiyah, kesederhanaan, is one of the utmost important principles. So we talk about sustainable consumption, sustainable production. So we do not take more than we need, and we make sure that the balance always favors the principles, always favors the important priorities, not for instance, medicine. There's the importance of caring for the masses, caring for important issues of health rather than cosmetic issues, no pun intended there. So it's important to put more energy into balancing towards principles, right? It's not just making sure that you're doing both good and bad and balancing between good and bad, the right and wrong. It's about balancing towards a better, a more principle-centered future. That is wasatiyah. So maintaining a balance, maintaining the harmony while we progress towards a better, more principle-centered future. Number 5, which is the focus of my presentation today, which is halal and thayyiban. What is permissible, halal, and what is good, what is wholesome. So this will be the focus of my presentation today. Number 6 is the ummatic justice. Part of sustainable development is inclusiveness, is equity, is equality, and to make sure that that whatever we do, whatever benefits that we generate, benefit the ummah. And when I say umat, we mean not just Muslims, but humanity, Muslims, non-Muslims, the old, the young, the women, the men, the youth, the marginalized, the urban, the rural, all this, there must be justice to the ummah, right? Number 7, prudence, thriftiness. In Islam, Islamic teaching, we are taught to be prudent, to be do not waste. And it is hadith. Meaning of hadith is basically you do not waste water, even though you're at a river that's flowing with vast and massive amount of water. So even when you have abundance, you do not waste. And wasting is associated as with the satanic, right? Evil. Wasting is an evil deed, so to say. So 7, that is number 7. Number 8 has to do with philanthropy, waqaf, or commoning, the idea of giving and making properties or entities that are accessible and that will be benefit to the public. So taking example, land that is private and turning it to waqaf land that is owned and accessible and bring benefit to mankind, the humanity. You can waqaf wells, you can waqaf lands and turning into forests and making sure that the forests are not being disturbed, is being conserved, so that it continue to benefit not just humans but also the flora and fauna, but also animals, for instance. They also make it common, right? Not private. So that is the 8 principles. I'll be focusing on principle number 5, which is halal and thayyiban, the permissible as well as the wholesome. The big question that I'm posing to us, to me, to the audience to answer is, why should halal and thayyiban be adopted as an important thrust in Islamic sustainable development, and as a strategy for Nusantara and beyond? I consider this, if it is adopted in a systematic, in a strategic, in a synergistic way, it become a revolution that will place Nusantara. When I talk about Nusantara, I mean from Sabang to Merauke to Filipina, from Rota to Miangas to Champa in Cambodia, part of Indochina, the original conception of Nusantara before the colonial rule, before they came and divide us and break us into different parts and different nations, to the point that we forgot we were once one. So Nusantara is so huge, so big that. So this is the question posing: why should halal and Toiban be the strategic thrust, the strategy for Islamic sustainable development, and to boost and revive and create a resurgence of Nusantara in Nusantara and beyond? Yeah. So that is the question posed. The next slide. So here we go. So in Quran and in Islamic teaching, the concept or the construct of halal was never separated from toyib, halalan toyiban. If you look at the verses of Quran, right, halalan, you eat, yeah, the all humanity eat from what is lawful and good, from halalan toyiban, and all the verses talk about halalan toyiban. Halal being lawful or permissible, then what is not prohibited, right? We know about halal meat and all that, right? What's halal? You see the halal certificate, right? But also the good, the wholesome, the clean, that has to do with halal, toyib, right? The humane, that has to do with toyib. The chickens that do not have hormones, that has to do with toyib. The way we take care of our vegetables, that has to do with toyib. Making sure that we do not exploit workers while we produce our goods and services, that's toyib, right? I can take this piece of paper right now, right? I can tear this piece of paper and eat the paper, right? I consume paper. It's halal, but not toyib. We do not want to eat papers, even though the paper is halal. We want to eat things that are permissible, halal, but also toyib. That's good for us, good for our health, good for our family, good for everyone and everything, right? So this is the point there is, but halal and toyibah is a unified principle in Islam, and this is why I want to deliberate on this and connect this to the whole idea of sustainable development, Islamic sustainable development. Let's move on to the next slide. Thank you, Hanif. That was in English just now, and this is in Bahasa, so you can actually have a quick reference. There's a quote from Quran, from Surah Al-Baqarah. There's a quote from Surah Al-Nahl. There are many other references in the Quran that talks about halal that is never separated from toyiban, right? This is halal and toyiban. Let's move to the one. This is some illustration that my brother Muhammad Riza presented many years ago, right? More than one decade ago. Example, an illustration of a halal and toyiban chicken, right? If a chicken, right, the red part, right? You pump into the chicken, you inject into the chicken antibiotics, chemicals. You feed the the food that is with chemical fertilizers. You inject with growth hormones, and then there's pesticide, insecticides, spelling there, and you slaughter the chicken, right? And you slaughter in certain way, in a halal way. You can still eat the chicken, it's halal. But the chicken is not toyib, right? But if you graze the chicken at the top there, we can point a bit there, with organic feed, with balanced diet, accessible to outdoors, in a humane way, then the way we breed the chicken, the way we take care of the chicken is a toyib way, right? So that when we eat the chicken, it's not just halal chicken, but halal and toyiban chicken, right? So that's good to consume. The halal chicken may or may not be good to consume yet, right? And the way we look at how we transport the chicken, we put them into small cages and put in small enclosed area. There are about 30 chickens in one little cage, right? And transported in our motorbike, right? And the chickens almost suffocate, right? And almost die in the process, right? And that's not toyib. But we do eat the chicken, and the chicken will have high level of stress, right? And we actually internalize the stress will also affect the meat of the chicken, right? So I said at the top there, if you want chickens that are clean, treated humanely, and not being abused, not injected with hormones and vaccines and nutritious and healthy, choose halalan thayyiban. So the idea of halalan thayyiban, berbagi rahmat sesama umat sejagat, is to spread the goodness, the goodness of Islam, the goodness that come from the principles of Islam to the rest of humanity, right? So that is what rahmatil lil alamin mean, right? You are sharing the goodness, the benefit, the wholesomeness to humanity, to the rest, right? So this is the idea of halalan thayyiban as an illustration, the halalan thayyiban chicken. Let's move to the next one. Now the question is still, why halalan thayyiban? Just now we were talking about the chicken itself as an illustration. If this is a Muslim and the world halal economy, 2023, 2 billion Muslims, which means about 1 out of 4 Muslims, about 8 billion people in the world population now, are Muslims. And according to Dinar standards, spending on halal products and services is an estimated amount of USD 2.2, not million, but not billion, but trillion. But that was 2019. I do not have the statistic, the latest statistics yet. For agriculture, Muslims spend American USD dollar 1.1 trillion, right? So yeah, it's a bit cold on the hand. This is huge market, huge halal economy, right? Growth rate on halal food about 3.5% between 2019 to 2024, which with the estimated value of USD 1.38 trillion in 2024. Somebody is going to benefit from this. So let it be us that benefit from this. Let it be Nusantara and people who champion the halal economy, or the champion this halal and thayyiban agenda that move into the halal economy. So we are talking about halal economy that's huge, and it's global. It's unfortunate if we do not enter this field. This is a field that we understand. Indonesia being the largest Muslim country in the world, right? And it's a waste if Indonesia do not tap into this economy and actually grow and ride this wave of halal economy. It'll be a revolution. The next, please. Thank you, Hanif. If you look at the Southeast Asia, right? If you combine the Muslim population, Indonesia being the largest, then Malaysia, Philippines, Thailand, there are more than 260 million people, right? Coming close to the whole market in the United States. United States add another 20-30 million people. We have United States market there. So it's huge. That is Southeast Asia alone. So we are talking about a market as well as the production capacity of 260 million Muslims, right? in Southeast Asia. And by the way, you do not have to be a Muslim to be in the halalan thayyiban economy, right? In Malaysia, we have chicken rice shop, we have secret recipe. They are not owned by Muslims, but Muslims patronize them, right? Because they have halal sign. So it doesn't matter whether you're Muslim or non-Muslim. The market is there and the market is growing. So this is one of the reasons we should enter this market and enter it with a sustainable development model, which is halalan thayyiban, right? Let's go to the next one. Now, why halalan thayyiban? Because all issues related to the SDG, all the 17 SDG goals, right, are related to thayyiban. When we talk about poverty, when we talk about food, when we talk about health, when we talk about life above the water, below the water, the climate, they're all about creating a good life, a good planet, a good way of living, a good way of producing, of consuming. This is all about Tayyib, right? And the whole idea of sustainable development is completely connected to Tayyib. So if we go halal alone, we are not going sustainable. But if we combine halal and Thayyiban, we are going sustainable development. We are going to Islamic sustainable development. So the next slide. And if we look at who has the power to change the world, who has the power, who is controlling the world right now, right? These are the list of countries and corporations in the world. And if you look at the red, there are the corporations. The black, there are the countries. So out of 100 entities, countries and corporations, 29 are countries, but 71 are corporations. So corporations are a powerful source to change the world and to control the world. So halalan Thayyiban as an approach can be incorporated both by the country, by the nation, as well as corporation, as a model of development, as a model of procurement, of buying materials, raw materials, or a model of producing, right? So if we engage them in an approach, in a model that is halal and Thayyiban, we can get sustainable development as part and parcel of the DNA of the country as well as the corporation. We'll move to the next one. And this is relevant to my next slide, which is this slide, right? If you look at how the idea of ethics, how the idea of Tayyib can change an industry, right? The cosmetic industry is known for its sin, if you may use that word, right, against animals. They have this animal testing practice where all products before, virtually all, not all, but virtually all products before they go into market, they test on animals, right, ranging from rats, mouse, to rabbits, to monkeys. So the mascara they put on the eyes is probably being tested on rats or the mascara, the women mascara, or rabbits, or that poor monkey, right? So, by the way, somebody by the name of a certain anthropologist and by the name of Anita Roddick saw that this is a sin, a problem, a tragedy in the cosmetic industry, decided to go the ethical way, decided to go the responsible way, which is to create a product line, a chain of shops that is free from animal testing, that is free from chemicals as well. So she created the Body Shop, right? And what happens when she created the Thayyiban type product line and Tayyib type brand of cosmetic? It challenges, it shames the rest of more established cosmetic industry. So at first, she was chastised, she was criticized. But eventually, what happened? The rest came into the bandwagon to be more responsible and to be more humane to animals, to be more critical to the usage of chemicals, right? So this is a revolution that you can see, a paradigm shift that you can see when you introduce Thayyiban into product line, into production, into the philosophy of corporations. There can be a revolution. There can be disruption at the beginning and a revolution in the end. And it will benefit humanity and the planet and the environment and the creation of God. Right? Next, we move to the next one. Now, this is the challenge. The challenge now under corporate social responsibility, under sustainability, under ESG, right? There are tons of certifications. There are a lot of certifications. They're certified just about everything and anything, including universities, right? We are certified, including your publications, including the academics. We have, all the ways of evaluating the goodness of service, of product, of capacity, right? Now, That's the international certification. This is the only partial portrayal of the certification out there. Now, question is, where is our Halalan Thayyiban certification to create a more sustainable world? Right? Where the world has, they are coming in with their own introduction, right? And we can see that now the new god for the academics are Scopus. Right? We pray to a new god, and the god's name is Scopus. So and every time we want to publish, we ask, is this Scopus or not? Is this QR, Q2, Q3? Because they come up with a certification, they come up with standards. We did not come up with standards, right? Because we follow the standards of the world, because we did not create those standards of the world. Now it's time for us to ask, what is the role for us to come up with a different game, a different standard, the Islamic Sustainable Development Standards, the Islamic Sustainable Certification that follows Halalan Thayyiban. So there's a role for government. Now, I'll give you an example, right? I researched, had a research grant from Sweden last time. There are towns, right? Not necessarily big city, that come up with policy that is there's a certification called fair trade certification, which makes sure there is a fairness in distribution of wealth between the producers, the farmers, the fishermen, whatever, right, in the supply chain to the distributors, to the consumers. So there's a fair trade logo, right? You can see it in the bottle, the mineral water bottle and all that. The town imposes to all the shops that there must be 10% of the product that should have fair trade certification. So there's a shift in market that they have to go with this certified product, certified fair trade product, right? But they can increase the number. Likewise, your city, your province, your state, your country, our country, right, can impose, like this year all government departments must buy at least 1%, 2%, 10% recycled paper, right? So likewise we can do the same. So there's a role for government to come up with policies that promote sustainable development, that promote Halalan Thayyiban. Universities and academics can come up with their own certification. They're combining different universities, Indonesia, Brunei, Malaysia, we come together, we come up with our own certification of Halalan Thayyiban in whatever field we want to go, right? It can be, you know that in Taiwan they even have marks and plates that's halal certified. There's plates that are halal certified because there's concern right now among the Muslim tourists that plates are made of porcine, which is the bones of the pigs, right? So they come up with that kind of certification. Now where are we? Why not we come up with our certification of this and that and this? A couple of years ago, I was visited by a German group. They want to visit the factory here, and they are a unicorn company. They are interested in vegetarian condoms, right? I was thinking, what is that concept? But I cannot comprehend that, right? Even condoms can be, you know, friendly to the vegetarians. I don't know, maybe accidentally eat the condoms. I don't know what. Kinky there. But you know, how about us? How about we come up with Halalan Thayyiban? There can be Halalan Thayyiban financial products, Halalan Thayyiban chairs, and you know, just about anything they can be, because Thayyib is about goodness. And there are goodness to be introduced in basically all industries and all practices, including universities, right? What's the role of corporation businesses? The corporation business can come up with Halalan Thayyiban UMKM, small and medium-sized company certification, Halalan Thayyiban. These are products that are friendly to small and medium-sized companies. These are products that are friendly for the students. So these are you know, different standards, different certifications that we can come in, and the academics can come in, join with the government or join with the industry, the businesses, and form their certification, right? So that is what's that? All right. Now I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, saudara-saudari sekalian, bapa-bapa, ibu-ibu sekalian, this is the field that we can win, and we has won, right? We have won this game. I give you an example: Islamic finance, Islamic tourism. Indonesia, Malaysia ranked number 1 in the world, right? In I think year 2019, and then it came COVID, and there becomes a different issue. This is our gelanggang, this is our medan, this is our field, this is our territory that we can win, and we have won, right? Coming up with Muslim tourism. Now people might think, sometimes we question ourselves, right? Can we create Muslim tourism? Should we separate between the men and women in the swimming pool? Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, there are European countries, hotels in European countries who have adopted the halalan, this method of separating women and men for a certain time. A certain time they separate them, and it was welcomed by the women. And there's a lot of these women, European women, find that, well, they feel a bit shameful to swim together with the men. Right? These are also ama also. They might have different body size, not the bikini size body. Right? They feel that it's more comfortable, and they want to swim as well. And you see, the principle of halalan thayyiban, the principle of Islam, when it applied, and it serves humanity. Now I'll give you another example. The Islamic finance, Malaysia ranked number 1 for 8-9 years in a row right now in the world, right? Islamic finance. Most of the customers of Sharia compliant financial products in Malaysia are non-Muslims, right? Majoritas nasabah yang membeli produk-produk financial patuh syariah di Malaysia itu non-Muslim. And they are selling financial products. They are not selling bakso or rawan kalkulator, rawan setan gitu, bukan. Ini sangat produk yang sangat serius. They are serious products, right? Majority are non-Muslim. What does it mean? The non-Muslim trust Islamic financial products. Now sometimes we don't trust our own financial product, Islam. But what it means is this is rahmatan lil alamin. The bringing the benefit of Islam to humanity. It's not just good for Muslims, it's good for non-Muslim, good for everyone. So if you look at this, this is where we can win. This is where we have succeeded, and we can prove to be successful in many other fields. Can we go to the next slide, please? This is the Malaysian halal industry ranking, right? It has won the halal industry ranking for I think 8-9 years right now, right? With accumulated investment halal of 16 billion, this is RM, 30 billion is in RM exports as well. So it has trained a lot of halal personnel, come up with certified halal exporters of 1,500 companies. Malaysia is a small country, right? Indonesia is about 10 times bigger than Malaysia in terms of population. So we can win this game, right? And this is an important game that we can enter, we can win, right? Because we are the players of this game, right? So we go to the next slide. This is another example, right? If you look at this, there's Islamic finance, halal food, Muslim-friendly travel, so Malaysia is up there. Halal food, Indonesia is number 2 right now. This is ranking number 2022, right? If you look at modest fashion, right? Modest fashion, Indonesia is ranking number 3 right now. This is a revolution we can go into, and we can win. See, what we want to do is this. We want to establish the halalan thayyiban certification to be the gold standard. To this extent, they say, oh, you want to have healthy food, you go halalan thayyiban restaurant. You want to have good financial products, you go halalan thayyiban financial products. You want to have good cosmetic, pharmaceutical products, you choose halalan thayyiban financial products. Then we are bringing tayyib into halal, and then we will become the gold standard of the world because we uphold tayyib in our halal certification. So, okay, we can have this approach, right? We still have our halal certification, halal MUI, halal JAKIM, halal Malaysia, halal Brunei, and sebagainya. But we can also develop new halal thayyiban standards. That is the gold standard. You look at media and recreation. Singapore is number 2 right now. Singapore, by the way, is not necessarily a Muslim country, right? But they can rank number 2. So it is open to all players. Is open to Muslim and non-Muslim countries, open to Muslim and non-Muslim companies. It is China number 4 right now, media recreation, right? So it is a very important field that we can win, and we should win this field. We should spread the goodness of Islam to the rest of the world. That's what we mean by rahmatan lil alamin, right? To spread the goodness, untuk semuanya, bukan sahaja kita saja, ya kan? Next slide. This is the greatness, the beauty, the power of what Indonesia is doing right now. Indonesia has identified 500 hectare, the green halal industrial zone. Not just halal, green. Green is a Toyib concept. It is in Banten, by the way, right? It will be the biggest. The biggest in Indonesia. My research has shown that this is the biggest in Southeast Asia, possibly in Asia as well, right? With the possibility of China that can beat this project, but this project the biggest in Southeast Asia. If you adopt this idea of putting green and other Toyib concept into halal, this will be one of a kind, right? In the world. We will become the halalan Toyiban center of the world. So ini raksasa Nusantara yang belum mengembang sayapnya, dan apabila raksasa Nusantara yang mengembang sayapnya, dia akan terbang sangat jauh, right? So this is something that we should all engage, right? Not just the companies, businesses, but academics, scholars, students, government, universities to come together. And this is the Halal Toyiban revolution we're talking about, bringing Islamic sustainable development as a model of this valley, and spread it throughout Nusantara and spread it beyond Nusantara. And that's how we can win this battle of sustainable development, because a lot of development in the world right now is capitalist-led globalization model of development. They exploit, they produce for capitalist interests, not for sustainable development interests. But if we go into this game, they will want to deal with the Muslim 2 billion Muslim in the world, and they want to deal with us. And if they want to deal with us, they must go Islamic sustainable development model. This is where we should commit ourselves and create a revolution. Next slide, please. So these are other areas besides Banten, and one is very close to UNESA, very close to Surabaya, which is in Sidoarjo, the Safe and Lock Halal Industrial Park in Sidoarjo. There are other areas as well as in Indonesia. These are some examples, and in Malaysia as well. Shall we go to the next one? So these are all the certifications, all the halal certificates in Sri Lanka has it, UK has it, Russia, Australia has it. So Indonesia has it, Malaysia also has it, right? The Malaysian halal certificate has also been invited by some authorities in China, right, to certify their products, right? So maybe there's some concerns that people do not believe in China halal certification, maybe, so they invite Malaysia. So this is where we talk about the standards. When they believe our standard, they believe in the principles of what we are doing. So we got to raise our standard, not just halal, but halalan Toyiban. So that the world will know, if you want to have the best financial product, the most sustainable financial product, they go to halalan Toyiban financial product. They want to have the best, clothing that takes care of the material, takes care of the people who produce it, they go for halalan Toyiban product. And we can win this game. We can win. We can fight the capitalist forces. We can fight the unsustainable crooks of this world, right? And become the new heroes. They will rise from Nusantara, right? Kerana inilah benteng terakhir kita. This is the final fort of the world that we can use to launch this revolution, the halalan Toyiban revolution, Islamic sustainable development breakthrough. So terima kasih, Jalas Viva Jaya Mahir. di laut lah, di samudra lah kita sukses. Because Nusantara is a bahari, is a samudra. Samudra itu adalah tanah kita, tanah itu adalah samudra kita. Dan kita akan berjaya kalau kita bergabung. Sekian, terima kasih. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
you for the presentation, Professor Rifani. Very informative talks. And before we move on to the